Hi everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. It's going to be a pretty quick video today. I'm going to show you my speed farming team for Fire Night 25. Just before we start, there is an appreciation gift which has just shown up in the shop today if you're watching this video when it comes out. Of course, I believe this is probably to do with the war in Ukraine. It says thank you for all of your support. It means everything to us. Good will prevail. We'll get through this together. So yeah, I that's not confirmed if it's to do with the war in Ukraine, but it certainly sounds like it to me. Of course, Plarium, the developers, most of the developers living and working in Ukraine and their families there. So this comes out over the course of 3 days. Lots of multi-battle attempts, lots of energy. Go into the shop, grab it. It is, of course, free, so we can claim that, and it will go into our inbox like so. So there you go. I've got like XP boost for days. When you're doing a CVC, you get it for ages, but you might be wanting to spend this energy in Fire Night. I believe we have a Fire Night tournament or event on right now as well. Come on, load up. There we go. So we've got a Fire Night tournament with some, rewards. There's not too much else going on in the game right now. The fusion is over. All right, so jumping into Fire Night, there is a 2x on right now. Double drop chance for regeneration set gear. Regen set gear is actually really good. Super helpful early game, mid game, especially for things like Faction Wars and Doom Tower, right? A lot of Doom Tower solo champions require regeneration sets. Makes Faction Wars much, much easier if you can build some champs and regen sets as well, if you lack healing. Yeah, it's just a great set, even late game for Hydra. As I was saying in my video earlier today, I'm trying to build my Ursula the Mourner out in regen, and I'm kind of running low on good regen gear, so it's a good set. It's a very good set to get, and there's other great sets in Fire Night, like Immunity is not bad, though we've got better versions now. Shield set somewhat useful, crit damage is somewhat useful, Frenzy's underrated, regen's good, stun, and of course Savage is good too. So there's plenty of good sets. This is a good dungeon to farm. Of course, the downside is that this is not a dungeon that you can solo. You really do need pretty much a full team. So let's go into this run. You can see we're opening up with poisons from Tomb Lord, poisons from Elenarl. Dark Kael extends those poisons, and then Elenarl will come and kapoof, blow them up. Wave 2, Prince Kymar will reset, and we'll do the same thing. I do believe you can run Renegade. Their cooldowns should be short enough that you can just run a Renegade, and it will do the job just fine as well, which is nice. In fact, Renegade in some ways might be better because her A2, I believe, is a triple hitter against the boss. So you'll knock the shield down that little bit faster, which is actually quite useful. Yeah, I need to give a shout out. I have to re-record this part of the video because I didn't give a shout out when I was recording to Boomer. I think it was Boomer who actually came up with this team first. Believe it or not, when I first saw the team, actually, it was someone random on Discord, I think, was talking about this team, and I copied it. And then I realized that Boomer had actually been the one that came up with it, and they'd copied him and all the rest. So I think it was him that came up with the original concept, and it's a very clever team here, running with Dark Kael. I used to run a team like this before with Ninja instead of Dark Kael, and that worked as well, but it was slower. And it was, it was just a bit slower, basically, is all that it is. But you can see here against the boss, it works just fine. One of the interesting things, I showed this team in my Dark Kael video, and one interesting question that came up, we just did that in 1:14, best time is 1:11, was why do I have Tomb Lord using Blight, using his AoE decreased defense and decrease attack? Is that not taking up slots for poison that you could then be blowing up with Dark Kael? And in a way, yes, it is. But the reason that you make him do that is because if Allure gets resisted, if her A1 is resisted, then the Fire Knight will get a turn. So he'll smack you. And if you don't have decreased attack on from Tomb Lord, with the way I've built these champions, they would just die. So basically, by making him do his A3, it makes this run 100% consistent. It's not 100% that you will do it this quickly. It is possible if I think 2 of her turn meter reductions on her A1 get reduced. So it's like a 3% of a 3% chance. It's a really small chance, but it can obviously happen. He will attack you and get a shield back up. It's not a problem though. You will survive. He can't hit you hard enough because of the decreased attack. And you've got so many triple hitters in this team that you'll knock that shield down really quickly. And even Dark Kael, I think if his A1 explodes HP burn, it will explode the HP burn behind the shield, and I think that knocks points off the shield as well. There's some weird display stuff. I think it's probably a bug, but it is a useful bug. It is a very useful bug. Let me show you the team setup first, then let me show you the builds. But yeah, let's dive in. Yeah, let's do this. So yeah, this is my old Fire Knight team right here. You can see it was almost the same team, except we brought in a Lydia and a Ninja. So this was slower, basically. It did the job, but it was slow. You didn't even really need Lydia. I think she was just in there for some extra speed so that we keep the turn meter down. But yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. This team, though, here's our setup. We got very specific things. Tomb Lord, number 1 on Death Burst. On round 1, turn off his Blight move. On round 2, the same thing. Then we get to the boss, round 3. He wants to open with his A1 because it's a triple hitter to knock down the shield, and then just leave him to do what he wants, and he's going to be just fine. Elenarl, she's going to do Smolder 1, Combust 2 on rounds 1 and 2, and then when we come to the boss, just do whatever she wants. Prince Kymar has very specific setup here that actually does matter quite a bit. I found it made the run consistently faster. So we turn off his A2 and A3 on wave 1. We turn off his A2 on wave 2. We have him open with his reset, of course. Now, when we get to the boss, you can see when you watch back the run, for me, Kymar is the one who breaks the shield. He's the one that hits it as the shield goes down, which means that he has a mastery, Evil Eye, which gives you turn meter reduction on your first A1 hit on the enemy. Now, if you use your A1 when the shield is up, the turn meter gets blocked. The turn meter reduction gets blocked. So that mastery does nothing. But if you hit it when the shield is down, you do get some. So by making him open with his A2 and we then turn it off, right? It means that he still has Evil Eye available. So when the shield is down, he comes back with his A1. And that tiny little 5% turn meter pushback, even halved, because it gets halved on above level 20. That's still quite helpful to get that turn meter down. And you do the same thing with Renegade. I'm pretty sure Renegade works just fine here. We just leave him to do what he wants then. We turn off his... we don't make him do his A2 except for the opener, because his A1 can put some poisons. For Dark Kael, he's just going to do Binding Darkness, and then A1 the waves, if anything survives somehow. Binding Darkness, A1 the waves. And then he's just going to spam his A1 on the boss. We turn off the other 2 moves. Allure is pretty much the same thing. She just spams her A1 on the boss. And for round 1, round 2, she just opens with her AoE for a bit more damage. Dark Kael's one actually matters because it increases poisons for the poison explosion, which just completely wipes those waves very consistently. So there you go. That is the team setup that we use. Let me show you the champions as well. And yeah, there's obviously some variance in how you build them, but these should be your rough guidelines. This is what I do, and it works really well, works really consistently. So Elenarl, so the star of the show. So she's pretty quick at 236. She needs, well, she doesn't need 100%. You could leave her with 85% crit rate, but if you want to use her for any blue affinity dungeons, you should build her with a 100%. So that's what I do. 100% crit rate. You know, whatever, 250 accuracies. I probably only need, what, 230 for Dungeons 25? I don't even know. I just have more accuracy than you need for those. She's at 267 accuracy anyway. 236 speed, 100% crit rate, and that's it. You know, a bit more attack makes her hit the boss harder, but it's all good. She's very squishy, but she's tanky enough to survive a hit from Fire Knight. So that's all we really care about. She just needs to tank 1 hit, and she can. Tomb Lord, he is in here in just completely random sets. Oh, I need to show you Elenarl's masteries as well. I re-geared him at some point. Well, I didn't re-gear him. I stole gear off of him, and I never bothered to put stuff back on. Maybe I'll rebuild him at some point to like solo dragon and ice golem as well, something like that. But he's at 238 speed. It's actually better if Elenarl is like 1 speed faster. Like I get an extra animation on wave 1 where he does an A1 that doesn't need to be there, but like who cares really? You know, it's the sake of 2 seconds, so it doesn't really matter. And he's built in just random stuff as well. He needs 100% crit rate, obviously, to extend his poisons. So I would recommend that. For his masteries, let's not forget the masteries. He's going into Giant Slayer because he's a triple hitter A1, and then extended debuffs over here is the main thing. Elenarl's masteries were like this. So she's down to War Master. I actually changed her masteries. I used to run her with Cycle of Violence, but I actually found that was putting off my Ice Golem runs. So I got rid of it, and I think that's actually fixed the Ice Golem problem. Though I actually skipped all of Ice Golem in the last fusion, so I don't know. But yeah, she has extended debuffs. Whirlwind of Death is not essential, but it's kind of nice because she does kill everything. So I run her with this. It makes her outspeed Tomb Lord in wave 2, which saves us a couple of seconds. Yeah, then we've got Prince Kymar. Prince Kymar is literally just in an arena build, so he's got bonus accuracy. Most of this stuff doesn't do anything. The key thing here is that he does have Evil Eye. So that actually is important with my team. That tiny little bit of turn meter depletion, believe it or not, I found with the speeds I have on my champions, actually made quite a difference. When I set him up to open with his A2 against the shield, and then have Evil Eye in his A1 when the shield goes down, I actually found that it kept the shield down for Fire Knight significantly more for me. The shield was going up, you know, maybe 1 in every 3 or 4 runs, and with this it's way down. It happens very, very rarely now. So yeah, it actually matters. So watch out for that. For his artifacts, he is running just fast, and he's got tons of accuracy. Well, not tons, but you know, for my account, he's running very fast, and he's got tons of accuracy. Obviously, you'll see other players that will have them way faster and way more accuracy, and more power to them. We'll get there one day. Then for our 2 epics, we had Dark Kael. He's coming in, and I really do want to get him to 100% crit rate for the other dungeons. You could also build him in a completely different build, and it doesn't really matter. You could build him in like a really tanky solo type build. You could do that if you wanted to. But yeah, he just needs, you know, good speed, and I've built him like to do a decent chunk of damage, but it's good for Fire Knight. If you want him to solo like Dragon or Ice Golem, stuff like that, you'd want a different build. Same with the Masteries. This is just for damage for Fire Knight, but if you want him in different builds, if you're doing solo farming type stuff, or, you know, like bringing in food champions to Dragon or Ice Golem, you might want a very different build. You wouldn't want Giant Slayer, but it's really good for this run and extended buffs, debuffs, and all of that. And the last champion is Allure. Pretty much the same build here. She has, again, Giant Slayer for some extra damage, and she has yeah, she's pretty quick. She's 261, so she's quite fast. And obviously she needs 100% crit rate as well. Basically all these poison champions need to crit for their stuff to happen, and Allure needs to crit. So that's the main thing. But yeah, she does need to be quick. That just makes it more consistent with her A1s, keeping that turn meter down. Like if she was 220 speed or something, this wouldn't work, I don't think. But there you are. That is the Fire Knight team that I run. Again, shout out to Boomer, who I do believe was the one who came up with this. But yeah, there you go. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want me to talk about more of the setups that I use for other dungeons, that sort of thing. I am going to look into maybe some solo builds for dungeons at a certain point. It's just something I've never had the time or the silver to get around to doing. But we've got a Tomb Lord there, so maybe we could respec him or Dark Kael or something into a solo build and still keep this Fire Knight running at, you know, around about that, 112 runtime. But guys, thanks for watching. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.